a martial arts movie podcast.
I threw that shit before I walked in the room.
Featuring drunken Thai boxer, Will.
Too bad you will die.
The also drunken wrestler, Mark.
I said I don't want trouble.
And drunken karate master, Zero.
You've lost your balls.
And now,
Talk. I know Kung Fu.
You know, baby.
Fists of Fail.
Well, I guess this episode's releasing right around Valentine's Day. Guess what Valentine's Day is this year for us? It's our 3-year anniversary. We've been doing this for 3 years. Yay! Look at all the rewards that we've reaped since we started. All right, so well, happy 3-year, Zero. I guess the movie we've chosen today, I mean, you guys already know what it is because, it's in the freaking title and you clicked on it. It's a special one for us because this was a movie that we kind of did a test pilot for. And it was
more than a test pilot. We covered the movie already. We essentially covered this movie and we covered its sequel in a very, very drunken rant in my old office.
Yes. Not drunken. Wow, it's called Drunken Master. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and the sequel, which we will not talk about today. Maybe we'll talk about it. I don't know. I didn't rewatch it for today's episode, so.
Oh, I did not either.
Yeah, no, and I don't think anyone should watch it. Period. We're talking about Crouching Tiger today, and yeah, of course, it's a special movie for us because we already technically covered it, but I'm actually glad for multiple reasons why we're doing it again. Because one, that we obviously have a more keen eye, with martial arts choreography than we used to. Just a happenstance of just doing this for 3 whole years. I guess the second reason would be that file is really hard to work around. And our format has changed, obviously. If you listen to our older episodes, we were much more general, I guess. We really hone in on the action ever since. But I guess some things haven't changed, which is my opinion on this movie. The one thing that has not really changed, or maybe has gotten worse. Okay, Crouching Tiger. Ang Lee's magnum opus, the movie that really catapulted his career in the Western sphere, won him a whole bunch of Oscars, and it's revolutionized or really introduced the West to wuxia, martial arts as a whole. Very monumental film, and you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a hard left and say I don't like this movie. And
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I've seen this movie throughout the decades in, different types of viewings. When I first saw this, I was in high school. I saw it with my mom in the theaters. Didn't really think too much of it. I knew martial arts, this was pretty cool, but I couldn't really wrap my head around the story. It was just so foreign to me. Obviously, I didn't grow up with wuxia films at all, so these aspects were very alien, like people flying through the air. That I'm not sure if I saw that before because I wasn't really introduced to Hong Kong movies, much later. But it just seemed, for lack of a better word, so foreign to me. And as I kept on rewatching this throughout the years, I started focusing less on the martial arts and actually more on the love story and the themes and all the different things. And I think that's why I kind of like this movie a little more as I got older. Yes, the martial arts, great. Certain fight scenes anyway. Mm-hmm. But, keeping in with our loose theme on romance, I actually do like the love story in this movie. Much better than Gorgeous, which we covered last week, which has no love story. There's no chemistry. Horrible.
There's a love story. It's about a business mogul taking advantage of a simpleton. That's basically what it is. And then he fights a young white guy twice in the movie. We're not talking about Gorgeous again. Fucking listen to our episode last week. Crouching Tiger, yes, has a love story. I mean, that's what it markets itself as. Man, that trailer. I mean, it's not even a trailer. It's the making of like teaser in the very opening. You just talk about like a forbidden romance. That's basically what the movie's about.
It's got that old trailer voice guy.
Yes.
That really nice stuff. There is a connection between this movie and Gorgeous, which I didn't know.
Which one are you going to refer to?
Apparently, Shu-Chi was going to be in this movie instead of Zhang Ziyi, but she had to do a Pepsi commercial.
Pepsi commercial. Imagine doing that, and like just the role that she was going to play was Zhang Ziyi's character, and Zhang Ziyi basically was. I mean, basically nobody was really known to the Western sphere outside of Michelle Yeoh before Crouching Tiger. So that is a huge misstep for Shu-Chi's agent.
This propelled her career. I think she only had a few acting credits before this, but I mean, all eyes were on her after this. She got a lot of Western roles because of this movie as well. Right? Yes. But you mentioned before Michelle Yeoh's in this movie and the infamous Chow Yun-Fat. Apparently, this is his first martial arts film. I didn't know that.
No, that's right. I mean, you and I both know. Like we watched plenty of John Woo. Oh, I was blanking on his name for a second. Plenty of John Woo. Like so those are more like gun fu, like very like
heroic bloodshed.
That's
Hong Kong action movies. I don't know. I guess I would have thought that somewhere between he would have just dropped a gun and just started doing fisticuffs or at least a sword, but apparently not. And this movie was kind of a transition for him because he was doing those Hong Kong shoot 'em ups at the time, and he has been aging, obviously, and this is like kind of him as an actor and then as a character too, like kind of accepting getting into this older kind of role.
I forget the actual title of that series, The God of Gamblers, I think. Shoot. Yeah, that's the one. I mean, like Chow Yun-Fat has a pretty wide range when it comes to acting chops. So I was not super surprised that he's playing like yet again another like stoic character, which I thought he does a pretty good job in this film. If you can look past the whole dubbing. Not dubbing, the whole learning Mandarin when it's not your native tongue thing that a lot of people harped on. But whatever. Chow Yun-Fat does a pretty okay job, and when you watch the film, his character doesn't really do a lot of overly theatric things, right? Because that's in line with his character. He is so much better than everybody else that he can just do very simple, extremely efficient movements. That's in line with what his how his character fights and how he behaves. So he could honestly casted anybody, but I will say, like, I think that the casting of Chow Yun-Fat is appropriate. Like, I think he nails a role, and I would say like pretty much across the board, everyone does a phenomenal job. And these are my objective opinions. Like I will never take that away from this movie. Where it loses me is the freaking Zhang Ziyi's character. Well, Zhang Ziyi's character. We mentioned this in our original episode, the one that's never been released. How much I despised her character, and it became incredibly hard for me to watch sometimes because she is essentially like the main character, I guess, of the film, and I find it really hard to like just follow along this rotten brat who just like causes trouble for everybody, and to root for her in any ways. Like I just genuinely like wanted her to die in every scene, and I've seen this movie like 4 times, which is more than I would like, and every single time, like, why won't you die? Fucking. And yeah, of course, whatever.
I don't feel the same way about her, but I can understand. Yes, she does feel a little spoiled at times, but that goes in line with, I guess, her situation. That's something I wish they kind of fleshed out a little more. She looks up to Michelle Yeoh's character and Chow Yun-fat's character. Like, she's a fangirl. She likes these heroic characters. She dreams of having that lifestyle, being a fighter, being out on her own, away from all this diplomatic stuff where she has to be prim and proper. But the thing is, we never really get to see her before this, so we're just thrown into with all these characters, and that's kind of like a problem with the story. Is this is adapted from like a series, and we're in part 4.
Pentology, yeah,
we're in like we're in like part 3 or 4, so we're not even getting to know these characters. We're in it with them, so I can get why you don't like her, because we don't really know her. We're just thrown in there, and she's just like, well, sure, I don't like this life, blah blah blah, and we don't get a chance to understand that from her point of view.
Yeah, well, this is an adaptation in like the loosest sense, because I didn't read the original. I can't read Chinese, so I know that the original source material doesn't really have Li Mubai or like any of these characters for majority of the books. They're kind of like supporting characters. So this movie just like takes really, grabs just like what they want for this movie. So I have no idea how close of an adaptation it is. That's not really like my complaint with Zhang Ji's character. It's more in theory I understand what she's going through. Like it's teenage rebellion, and also like she's trying to like go against her fate. She's part of this arranged marriage to be, and she wants to escape. But there are certain actions she does where she just does them because she's a horrible person. She steals a sword.
She's not a horrible person. Like I said, she just wants a different type of life, right?
She does things at certain points in the movie where they even wrote it into her dialogue, where she's like, I stole the sword for fun. And she just causes trouble for all, like, not no reason. I get there's reason. It's because she's acting out, but that's what's hard for me to for myself to relate with, is like I'm just following a character who's just acting out the entire movie, and that's her main impetus, or like her main motivation. But you know what? As much as I don't like her character, and I can keep going, I'll try not to, because that can totally be like the premise of this episode. That's not the reason why I don't like the movie. It's like, of course, like, you watched this movie in theaters, like it was new to you. This is gonna be my subjective opinion, but I grew up around that, and this movie, I guess it's best said from the filmmakers themselves. Like Ang Lee himself said, like, he's not trying to make a martial arts movie. He's trying to make like a romance movie, and then like with martial arts in it.
Right.
So when it comes down to the action, it can be pretty good at times, but like, there's nothing about it that really excels. But even in wuxia, where like movies that I've watched growing up, I'm like, like you can have a little bit of both. But like obviously, like they really went all in on the drama in this movie, so it's completely different. Like, so I get why people like this movie and why it resonates with more people. But the fact that it's a wuxia film and people say like, "Oh, this movie kicks ass," that's where I argue with that. I'm like, it doesn't kick ass. It's more universal, more accessible for the wider audiences, but I don't think it's a good representation of wuxia at all.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I didn't grow up with it. I'm still not that familiar with wuxia, but because this is what was, my first experience with it, and it left an imprint on me. So like I think with a lot of Americans anyway, when we think of wuxia, I mean, this is probably one of the first things we're going to go to.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've covered a couple of wuxia-esque movies since, right? I mean, like, what are your thoughts then? It's like, do you think that it's like this is still like higher echelons of like what wuxia should be? Like,
it's a little tough to compare because this does have the budget. They got Yunmo Ping to do the action choreography. They have a really, really great score and cinematographer, like all that stuff to come together with the budget and all that. It's a little unfair because like with those, some of those wuxia movies, you can see where the budget is kind of limiting from them from doing certain things. So, like, and I honestly, like, we did cover some wuxia movies, but I can't remember.
Well,
off the top of my head, which ones we did?
Off the top of my head, not so much either. But I'd say like anything that's like uses a lot more. I mean, more period piece movies similar to this one, or like that, and also incorporate more floaty like movements. I guess. I mean that's like the best way for me to describe wuxia. And people are flying in the air. I mean, we typically don't like that. Like that's just our personal taste.
Yeah, we tend not to cover that stuff because it's sometimes, at least when we've tried to look at some of them, it's not the choreography where we can kind of break down the fights. That's what our show is all about. When you have it's great stunt work, wiring people up, getting 5 guys to pull one person and do all that stuff on screen. Very, very difficult,
Yeah, for sure.
Not taking away any of that, but when it comes to fighting, sometimes just seeing people clash on screen like that, it's not our thing. I would like to cover. Yeah, I'm not. We're not the biggest fans of wire work. I do like it from a technical aspect and from a stunt aspect, but
not Jackie doing jumping kicks.
Yeah, oh god, yeah, bringing that back from the last one.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I completely get it. Like why people like still see this as, like it blew their minds. So like I can appreciate what this movie did. But again, like because I didn't, because I grew up around it, it's like, oh okay, this movie is like the Panda Express of wuxia movies for me. It's like, I mean, it might be delicious for everybody, but I'm like, yeah, okay, it's fine. But then I'll hear one person say like, "Oh, I want to try more Chinese food," and it's like, okay. Well, if it does any good to represent Chinese culture, then sure. Like I say, like go ahead, watch Crouching Tiger. Love the movie as much as you can. I personally don't love it.
Right. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know if I would say Panda Express. That might be a little harsh.
P.F. Chang's.
But you know what? This would be a thing if it's like, oh, I've never seen a wuxia film. How about, okay, check out Crouching Tiger. Did you like that? Did you like, the wire work? Could you get into some of the themes and the martial arts and stuff like that? Okay, great. Here are some other things that are better representations, right? This would be like a good stepping stone.
Yeah. That's a very appropriate way, or like very apt way of describing it. Yeah, for sure. This is the initial stepping stone for anyone who wants to really get into martial arts cinema. I mean, like if you guys discovered it back when it first came out 22 years ago. fucking old, man. Yeah,
but I think for a lot of Americans, like, The Matrix came out the year before this, and this, like, it was one after another showcasing Chinese, Hong Kong martial arts. And for me, I didn't watch so many, Hong Kong martial arts films because I just didn't have access to them.
Yeah.
But like once The Matrix became popular, once this became popular, they realized that Americans like me had an appetite for it. So that's when we started to get the influx in the Jackie Chan and Jet Li imports. Yeah. We started getting, their movies, and, it just opened it up the floodgates for us.
It's a wuxia movie? I want to say The Medallion, maybe. Because there's so much flying around.
No. I think a lot of wuxia fans just groaned hearing you say that.
No, I kid, obviously. But the reason why I brought that up is because, it's true. Because, like, there's everything that Jackie and Jet Li was doing too, and this was happening as well. So, like, it was just like, cornering the market a little bit. So like a little piece of history. Like the early 2000s was like late 90s, early 2000s was a great time for Hong Kong cinema to infiltrate Hollywood or the rest of the world. And Crouching Tiger is is a remnant of that, and was like I guess the breakout that like actually showed like it's not technically it's not in a Western production. So like, but it was distributed here, and it was a major success. So it showed that like there are people who are interested in foreign films. Fuck, like how many Oscars did this fucking thing win?
I think it won 3.
That's crazy,
And this was the only martial arts film to be nominated for Best Picture, I believe.
Yes, but that's yep.
So I was gonna say, this year, Shang-Chi got nominated for an Oscar for special effects.
Interesting.
When I don't recall another martial arts movie getting nominated in a while. Has it been that long between Crouching Tiger and Shang-Chi for a martial arts film to get a nomination? I can't recall.
Yeah, one that's like primarily an Asian cast. That's a good question. I don't know.
Let us know if you can recall, because I can't recall.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
Well, anyway, we've been talking a lot about The Legacy. What's this movie about, Will?
Well, I was gonna pin that on you. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. The Crouching Tiger is the love interest of Zhang Ziyi, who is a bandit who falls in love with her on a raid. And Zhang Ziyi is the dragon. So there's a play on words.
She's the hidden dragon.
She's the hidden dragon, yeah.
You know what's kind of annoying? So when I was watching this, they don't give that information away with a subtitle. So the love interest of Zhang Ziyi's character, I guess his name is like Dark Cloud. That's what they call him.
Okay.
But Tiger is actually in his name, or it is a translation of his name in Mandarin. And then when Zhang Ziyi is hiding out in the tea house later, she uses the name Dragon as like a, to conceal her identity. And I was like, why didn't they translate that? That would have been like a nice, call back to the title, I guess.
Yeah, Ang Lee even said himself, like, there are a lot of things. He said during an interview that there are going to be some things, that are cultural things, historical things that are going to be left out and be foreign to the Western audiences. So they had to just change the subtitles to just kind of make sense. So they just completely omit things. Otherwise, it would take too much time to explain.
Yeah.
Or be a little bit
No,
I
get that.
Which makes sense. Yeah. That's fine. But like, just to complete that part, yeah, Zhang Ziyi, I mean, I already mentioned before, she acts out. She does, she steals a sword owned by Li Mubai, who played by Chow Yun-fat. He steals this magical sword. It's not really magical, but it's
not really magical. Yeah.
It's practically magical because it's indestructible.
Yes.
It's an ancient sword that becomes the premise of the second movie. And yeah, by the way, Chow Yun-fat, who originally owns it, gives away the sword because he originally doesn't want the sword. He doesn't want to be a fighter anymore, right? Or he wants to like basically meditate forever. And he has affection for Michelle Yeoh, who receives the sword to take care of it. And the two of them will not confess their love for one another because she was engaged to Chow Yun-fat's best friend who died. So as a vow that they will, honor him forever, they profess that they will never make anything happen. That's actually the interesting part. I will give you that. Yeah. Like, that's actually the part that I like. I freaking hated the Zhang Ziyi love story. Like, it's toxic. It's like a toxic relationship. On top of a lot of other things that I had problems with her character. And then
Man,
like,
so
yep.
one of the things that I noticed this time around watching it, because I wasn't paying attention as much to the martial arts, because I already knew how I feel. I like whenever I rewatch this, I'm like, okay, I know what I like about it in terms of the fights.
Sure.
So I was looking closer, at the relationship stuff, and it's funny because when Michelle Yeoh first meets Chow Yun-fat, we understand that they haven't seen each other in a while. And when she sees him, like her eyes light up, and he starts, it's like he wants to give away that he has these feelings for her. He says like, oh, I started thinking about something. She's like, what were you thinking about? And he wants to say like, oh, I was thinking about you. But he's like, anyway, here, return this sword, take this sword because I can't do it. Like, there's a constant back and forth with him, like not being able to express his feelings. She even confides in the person she's giving the sword to that he can't express himself. So he's like, oh, well, I'll give him an earful next time I talk to him. Because it's like one of those things where everybody knows they need to get it on. Everybody knows like they are just like in heat for each other, but they can't, openly express it and then do it because of the vow that they made to each other.
That's all fine, Danny, on paper. Like watching it, I kind of wish, not that I want the whole movie to be like that, because it'd just be like, oh my god, just fuck already. Because that get really frustrating. So they space it out. Chow Yun-fat is obviously in the movie, a decent amount, but he's not in every scene. He's actually sprinkled in here and there because he's more like even though he's in the movie, he's more of like a mythical figure because he's just so like powerful and so skilled, and he's so wise that anytime he enters the scene, he just steals the room. So like they have to sprinkle him in, just sparingly. So like that's all fine and all. I was gonna say, any scene with Chow Yun-fat wherein he's fighting, obviously it's very minimal. They give him very little to do, but they make him look really good. Just because like they wrote around the fact that Chow Yun-fat doesn't know martial arts. I don't know if you've read this, but one of the original potential actors who was going to play, casting. Sorry, that's what I was looking for. Castings for Chow Yun-fat was Jet Li, and I'm wondering how much they would have changed a lot around that.
Oh God, that's what
think,
I was.
But
I was going to say that's what I was thinking too. Would Chow Yun-fat's fights been different if it was Jet Li? Because obviously Jet Li is a trained martial artist and on-screen martial artist. We know he could fight. Would they then subdue him, even though we all know he's a martial arts master? I guess Chow Yun-fat being cast in this works to the story as well. They're trying to suppress it because they don't. It's supposed to be him just being able to take care of these moves with ease and not have to dole out so much choreography to take somebody out. Interestingly enough, I saw that somebody made a deep fake putting Jet Li's face onto some scenes because the person knew that it was originally supposed to be Jet Li, and it's kind of interesting to see like Jet Li had that iconic look for for a lot of his movies, like the Once Upon a Time in China series. So to see his face like now onto the Li Mubai character is kind of it's kind of interesting seeing him act across Michelle Yeoh, but they've already acted together. I think, what was it? They've acted together in some other roles, I believe.
Right. Interesting. I read conflicting things about why Jet Li couldn't do this role. Like one was that he had a wife who was pregnant. Yeah. And the other one being that he turned down the role because he wanted to star in another movie.
Oh,
Romeo Must Die. So
another romance movie.
Oh, that's right. Oh, we already covered it. So
we already covered that.
Yeah. So I mean, like, if Jet Li played the role, like maybe he people wouldn't have given him so much shit because Chow Yun-fat and Michelle Yeoh got a lot of flack because they are not Mandarin speakers. In fact, Michelle Yeoh, according to what she said in her interview, I just learned like she like studied for like a year plus to like just in preparation to learn Mandarin for this role. But there are certain lines where she's just saying things phonetically and she has no idea what she's saying. So that blows my mind because I don't think her performance is bad in any ways.
I don't think so either. So they have accents, you know. Chow Yun-fat obviously has a Cantonese accent when he's speaking. Michelle Yeoh has like a kind of like
British one.
British English.
Yeah.
I think where is she from? Malaysia?
She's Malaysia,
part Malaysian.
Malaysia, I think. Yeah.
Singapore. Yeah. Well, anyway, I watched this movie with a Mandarin speaker, and they said it was fine. They could just hear the accent. It wasn't like it was horrible. So unless they did some post dubbing, which I know they did. You could tell there is ADRing.
Yeah.
But with those intense scenes, those emotional scenes, you can see it's really them. I want to assume it's really them for the most part, anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of dubbing, they actually did a whole version for this for the Chinese audience. They had to redub everybody. Well, Chow Yun-fat and Michelle Yeoh with native Mandarin speakers just for them. Yeah. Which I find kind of like overkill, but I guess whatever. This movie did not do well with Chinese audiences. That's another thing to mention. I think it has a lot to do with the same sentiments I already echoed before. It's just growing up around that. It's like humdrum. Like you don't really pay attention to it. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. Doesn't really stand out. But there are things about this movie that I do like. Like the whole of it I don't like, but I will give this movie a lot of props because I really like the filmmaking as a whole. Like it's a technical achievement in a lot of ways for martial arts cinema, and I'm not going to downplay that for any ways. I don't like the movie, but that doesn't mean that I don't appreciate things like the cinematography, the sets, like. I mean, this movie was 2000, literally 2000. Yeah, like some of the CG still kind of holds up. Some of it, not all of it.
Some of it, not all of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can see how like back then it would be like it would look really like impressive. And this is one of those cases where you have the actual performers, the actual actors doing the stunt work, choreography for the most part. Not always, but for the most part, it's them doing it. And from an action standpoint, I am very appreciative of that. They're not always great, but it's impressive. Yeah.
So, what did you think of the action and the fighting of this movie then? Like not to go into detail, we didn't talk about it broadly yet.
It is wuxia, but I don't know how to succinctly put this. It is wuxia, so obviously, I'm not even the biggest fan of the genre, like as a whole. I mean, I've seen some that I actually do genuinely like, but I prefer my things more grounded. The choreography, when it's not like super wiry-ish, I don't mind it so much. Like I actually really like the hand-to-hand stuff. And I'm very impressed by both Zhang Ziyi and Michelle Yeoh. And Michelle Yeoh, like, I mean, I'm doubly impressed with Michelle Yeoh because, like, one, obviously we know that in the 80s and 90s, well, less than the 90s, she starred in a bunch of action movies, and she knows how to fight on screen. She knows how to hit her cues, but she had a major injury, like in the beginning of the production in the very first fight. So, like, I'm very impressed that she was able to like do more action scenes as the movie progressed. So
yeah, basically after she got surgery, she had to go right back and film her stuff. They filmed all the non-action stuff, but the last infamous fight, the weapons battle between her and Zhang Ziyi, that was the last thing they actually shot as well. Mm-hmm. So like she had to really, really power through that whole thing. And thankfully that last fight doesn't have so much, I think there's no kicks. It's just weapons. So like she doesn't have to rely so much on doing anything crazy with her legs. Mine is just keeping up.
Minus the overhead shots, which we'll talk about those in the action segment. I'd say overall the action's okay. There are some standouts that I really did like, but for the most part, it's just okay. It's slower paced, and when I think of wuxia, one thing that they account for, or like the good ones at least, one thing that they account for because everyone's so floaty, like in those typical wuxia films, to offset the floatiness, they crank up the speed and they make the edits like super rapid. So it just looks like there's a whole bunch of things happening all at once. This movie doesn't do that. It kind of really dwells, really hones in on the movements, like not in a boring way, but it really takes its time with it, which is different. I do appreciate some of the movements, but it's not as snappy. It's not as quick as like your other wuxia movies. So I don't know. It's almost like a different beast. I guess the best way to describe it. I don't know, Zero. I said a lot. What do you think of the action?
I mean, if you look up best fight scenes, a lot of times this final fight between Zhang Ji and Michelle Yeoh comes up, and I do think it's a very, very good weapons fight. I do like it. It's funny when you listen to the DVD commentary. Whenever there's a fight scene going on, like Ang Lee, and I think it's one of the writers, like, you know, they kind of start talking about certain aspects of it. And then once they got to that fight, you can see that they got sucked in and they're just watching it. And every now and then he's like, oh yeah, da 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 da, you know, he'll say something. But I think that just shows like how mesmerizing that fight is and like how good it is, and with its simplicity and what they're trying to say. I'm not sure if this is accurate though. Ang Lee said that Yun Wo Ping didn't really do too many sword fights in his day. And so like he had to yeah. I don't know if I believe that either. But he said, you know, that was like a challenge for him to do sword fighting. Maybe he's speaking of like a distinctive style, but I remember him saying that.
Yeah. That's interesting. I never even thought about that. But yeah, like, because when you watch this movie, every action scene's very Yun Wo Ping. This is a very Yun Wo Ping movie. I mean, of course, like he choreographed it, but it's like your signature Yun Wo Ping style. But yeah, like it's fine. Like I think the weapons fight is pretty good. Don't know if it's my favorite weapons fight, but it's there's a lot to actually talk about there that like that is, you know, genuinely like objectively good. But I guess we've talked enough about it from generality standpoint. Guess we talk about the action now. So follow us on Patreon, do all the things.
If you want to hear the full action breakdown, because we're going to go into it, I do have a lot to say about that fight because I do like it a lot. So sure. I would like to go into detail. Mm-hmm. So yes, if you want to hear that, you got to go to Patreon. It's only $1 a month. It's cheap, I swear.
Listen to Zero geek out about this action scene because someone needs to be the positive one. Hey guys, thanks for listening to the podcast. We're at the point where we give our recommendations, but there's a whole wealth of audio you would be listening to here if you follow us on Patreon. There you can listen to the entire episode, including an exclusive action breakdown of the fights in the movie. And now on to our final thoughts.
So is that Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
That is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, a bloated review for a relatively bloated movie. It's a very long movie. It's 2 hours. Holy shit.
Yes.
But yeah, that's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. We talked to death about it. The more I talk about it, I think I did this the last time too. I had an epiphany moment where I'm like, the movie's not that bad. I don't like it, but there's a lot of things to appreciate about this movie. So that's basically my sentiments of this time too. The movie's pretty. like it's pretty good in certain aspects, but for the most part, like I don't like it. But that doesn't mean I'll detract from other people who love this movie. It's got a lot of problems in my opinion, but I think that the influence, the legacy is definitely something to talk about. I think this movie still like really holds up in that regard. But yeah, like I don't want to be a dead horse. Like I think it's just a stepping stone. It's a gateway martial arts movie in my opinion. Like I don't put this on the echelons of like best martial arts movie ever. Like I think it's like it's different too. Like it's trying to be a drama first, so like you have to look at it with like that kind of lens. But yeah, anyone who says like it's like the best martial arts movie ever, which there are some people who are like that, I have to hard disagree with that. So the action's okay for the most part. The fight with Zhang Ji and Michelle Yeoh at the end is really good for the most part. So I say definitely check that out. But yeah, if you never watched it, regardless of how I feel, everyone should at least watch it once. All right, I talked to death. Zero, your turn.
I mean, I get all the reasons why you're not crazy about it. I don't like Zhang Ji as a character, but I don't know. Like in the end, I think like I'm trying to understand her. It's because she's supposed to be that unruly teenager that just wants to be free and do what she wants, and in the end, she learns a valuable lesson that she caused the death of people and she should throw herself off a bridge.
God damn it. Just a horrible person. Like that's what it comes down to.
I don't think she's a horrible person. I think she just wants, it's one of those, I want a better life, and because of that, it caused the misfortune of others. It's just one of those like obey your parents type of stories without really being that type of story.
Remember in the beginning? Yeah, well, that's a really good way to put it. Remember in the beginning, you were like, oh, like she used to be a fangirl for these two guys. Imagine you meet Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, and because of you, both Spider-Man and Doctor Strange are dead. Your heroes are dead because of you.
Because of
all
you,
the horrible actions that you did. That's what
it's kind of like that a little bit, yeah. But yeah, I mean, everything you said, this movie has a legacy. I liked it. I did not like the desert stuff. I think that stuff went on way too long. I wish they could have cut it, but it's there. So if you've never seen the movie before, be prepared for that, because it is kind of jarring, and the movie takes like a huge lull in pacing at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like all the acting. I like all the themes that are going on with, like literally the movie title is about people hiding things, hiding something bigger or something more powerful, and that runs throughout the movie. And I really like all those, all the subtle ways they put it in there. And it's not the best love story, martial arts love story. I still want to give that to Pedicab Driver because I love that movie. But I do like the romance in it, and I think because Chow Yun-fat and Michelle Yeoh, they're just really, really good actors. So I think they just help sell that even more. So yeah, this is a recommend. And the last fight between Michelle Yeoh and Zhang Ji is really good. I think everything else is just okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we kind of agree but don't agree, but that's fine. My answer's relatively complicated. But in the end, I say I would recommend the movie. Like basically echoing what you just said. I think I've seen this movie 4 times now. I've seen Ang Lee's other masterpiece like at least 8 times because I was a dumb kid and it was always on. And of course, I'm talking about The Incredible Hulk.
Oh God, I couldn't even see that movie because the poor lighting with the CGI. I don't know what they were doing there.
Yeah, imagine Crouching Tiger, but with The Incredible Hulk. That's like the best way to describe that movie. It's so boring and so like there's so much drama in it. God.
Yeah, I don't like. I think universally nobody likes Ang Lee Seo. Oh, so let me end on this. I mentioned earlier, like I first watched this movie with my mom. We went to theaters to watch it, and we got to the desert scene. We got their Zhang Ziyi and the bandit are in the cave together, right?
Yes.
And she's like angry, fighting on top of him, trying to get away from him. It cuts to the shot, and his hand is down her pants, just on her crotch. And this subdues her. She is no longer like this crazy wild woman. She's now in ecstasy because he literally just touches the puss. And then it goes into them, making love and all this stuff. And I remember honing in on that. And then like looking like at the screen, looking at my mom, I was like, oh, this just got so weird and uncomfortable.